Yep, we're live.
All right. Hello, Madridistas. Welcome to preview edition of the Let's Be Real podcast. And we are going to be previewing match day 27. Yeah, it's almost just 10, pretty much just 11, 10 games left to play. And it's, of course, for us, it's the banana peel game against Rayo Vallecano. Sandwiched in between, a classic round of 16 UCL game. So yeah, and joining me today is my ever-present co-host Farouk. But first of all, before we get into the thick of things, man, happy anniversary! 123 years of greatness for Real Madrid.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not easy, honestly. It's crazy, like you've gone 123 years, like and I mean, yeah, we've been supporting for how long? The last 10, 15 years, more or less. It's been a journey for us. It's been like we've been, part of the whole Real Madrid journey since the very beginning. And that's, the great thing you love about, the sport is that like, it transcends, countries and nationalities and borders and, race and color and gender. It's, one of the things that unites everyone and, makes you feel as a, part of a whole big community and, long live Real Madrid.
Heck yeah, and it doesn't look like we're stopping anytime soon. The greatest just keeps on coming. Speaking of which, talk to us about how your match day went, man, in the UCL. Did you catch the Barca game? Did you catch the Liverpool game?
Yeah, actually just this morning I was discussing with a colleague and we were like talking about the fact that like Wednesday was, a great day for, Champions League football. And I think, the last robbery I'd seen in Champions League was, Barcelona against Chelsea in 2009. I remember where like the ref literally, said that, Chelsea weren't going to win that game. And that
Yeah.
was just, that day it was just like, like it was Allison literally saying to Paris, you guys are not winning that game, And then eventually, I think it was the first shot on target and then it was a goal, And then there was other games, Bayern Munich against Leverkusen very unfortunate. Barcelona as well, Chesney dug deep, kept phenomenal clean sheet, yeah, even though like Casado had been sent off, Benfica still could not find a way through. And then like Rafinha as well. Rafinha, I think one of the most informed wingers in world football, honestly, like he deserves to be given, the shout for the Ballon d'Or. I understand everyone is talking about Salah, and Salah, but I think, the form Rafinha is in as well is something that, has to be taken note of. But yeah, man, it was really good. And then Inter does what Inter does, not conceding while winning, again. So
Yeah.
I feel like it was a different day. Or maybe because like on Tuesday I was just Real Madrid and when you're invested in the club you don't see anything else. But like on Wednesday the UCL was a bit more, different and the more of a roller coaster. But yeah, it was a great day of football there.
Yeah, well, Wednesday for me, I think it can be summarized in maybe one line. It's just the better goal, the team with the better goalkeeper basically won.
True.
Uh, Same for the Barca game. Chesney pulled off some amazing saves, really consistent, and like, he- and it's also a game where especially the PSG game. I don't know, man. Donnarumma, he could have maybe kept a clean sheet close to the end, and kind of unfortunate, but that I don't expect too much from Donnarumma at all these days.
Yeah, that's the thing, like, and as they say, like, Donnarumma, whenever he plays for Italy, transforms into a different player. And, when he plays for Paris, it's just like, as you said, that I kind of felt like similarly. So people will be like, oh, it was a hard and low shot. It's difficult to keep out. But I personally felt like, he should have done more with that. A goalkeeper of his caliber, at least, should not be allowing that squeeze through, you understand? But again, that's the thing, like, I don't know what you remember. I was saying to you, like, I do not, worry too much about Liverpool. I don't know if you remember that after the draws when we were talking about Inter and Atletico Madrid, and then you were bringing up the concept of Liverpool, and I just feel like that game further showed that to me that like Liverpool like could be there for the taking when the time comes. You understand? Of course, like I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, like, it's not like we have to give credit to Paris. Like Paris were literally a team. And that's a very strange thing to say about Paris Saint-Germain. Using the term team and associating it with PSG. Paris were absolutely team, and they were playing a collective game, and kudos to them. Honestly, there is absolutely nothing they could have done better.
yeah,
Maybe you can talk about finishing or something, but like when you meet Alisson in goal, I mean, it's reminiscent of what Liverpool faced against Courtois in the final. Like there is literally nothing you can do when when these people are
Yeah,
in
I
this
mean,
kind of
it's not like PSG were missing sitters. It's just that
exactly.
the shots came from like difficult angles to pull through, and then they all took really good shots. Barcola, Dembele. In the end, Alisson just made the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. How about our game, man? Like, what are your thoughts? I mean, mainly the highlight is Rodrigo, Valverde. That right hand side just delivered for us that day, and our front
Absolutely.
two of Vinicius and
Mbappe.
Mbappe, didn't really cover themselves in a lot of plays. But how do
Yeah,
you think the next game is going to go?
that's the thing, Jacob. The thing is that we know what Mbappe and Vinicius are and what they can be. So we know that Mbappe is not going to have such a stinker in the next game. We know that Vinicius is not going to have such a stinker in the next game. At least for me, that's the solace I have. That's the bright side I look at because, okay, like the only way to go for them now is up. There is no down.
Yeah.
You understand? So at least from those, when we talk about individual players and when you talk about the front two, like from that perspective. Well, you mentioned Fede already. You mentioned, Rodrigo, and I also like just slot in Brahim Diaz there. They put in a shift, absolute shift. And I feel like we could have gotten more from the game, especially if you remember that very last chance of the game, Kylian Mbappe scoring the ball back to Vinicius Junior. I just feel like that
Oh
was
my
the
God,
game
that was so
there.
difficult to watch.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I just feel like it was something that was so easy yet made so complicated. You understand? And that was literally the summary of the night for both players. More or less. So that was just that was it. But I feel like we've played a lot of games against Atletico Madrid, and Atletico Madrid is like one hell of a difficult not to crack. But I feel like that game they were like cracks that we could have exploited. Like that was a game that was a bit more open, when you play Atletico Madrid. So I do not expect to see the same openness when we go to the Metropolitano. But that's why I just feel like it's an issue of a chance to miss. But again, let's see how it goes, man. Like, we have these players and I believe that, they're gonna step up. Jude Bellingham is gonna return. So I hope, we have a more interesting game at the Metropolitano and eventually we go through.
Yeah, we'll be covering more about this in the Atletico preview, but I think the main thing that Atletico fans were looking, apart from maybe like a close result, they were looking for some of our players to get yellow cards. Xiaomeni, Rudiger, who else? Camavinga. All of those guys could have been
Yeah.
suspended, but we just somehow scraped through with a really clean game.
Yeah,
Which
but
was,
that's the thing, you keep carrying this yellow card, and I think the yellow cards do not get eliminated till the semi. So now you go, Arsenal already through to the
wait,
quarterfinals.
it's until the semis. It's not the quarters.
I think it's the semis.
Oh my God. Okay.
I think it's the semis. Like, so the point now is that you go against Arsenal as well, and again you're playing the second leg away from home. So it's like
Huh.
you start having this.
We're not out of the woods yet, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh boy, that complicates things, yeah, for sure. The but in the end, I mean, we got a good result, and one of the main things that was going into that game was this is the first time we face a big team after Man City without having Ceballos in the team, and still we managed to pull off a very decent defensive performance in terms of attacking. I'm not sure, Brahim had to bail us out, Rodrigo had to bail us out, but in terms of defensive performance, at least, like we were pretty good.
That's the thing. I honestly we lost Dani Ceballos a lot, but the reason why I appreciated the effort of Brahim Diaz and Rodrigo wasn't because of the goals they scored, but it was because of the way they were able to help out in defense. And I was actually speaking to Saint after the game, and I was citing to him because he remember the role that Gareth Bale played against Bayern Munich. When we won 4-0 against
Yep.
the Pep's team, when Carlos' first team. In that game, Gareth Bale did not score. You understand? Well, the shift he put in as a right-sided winger, a right-sided defender was phenomenal, and I felt that was. I mean, Rudiger had a lot of clearances, a lot of tackles. Sorry, not Rudiger. Sorry, Rodrigo had a lot of clearances, a lot of balls
Yep.
won back, a lot of tackles. That I mean, you look at this and you think, oh wow, like Lucas Vasquez as the right back. I don't think when you combine all the tackles he's made in the Champions League this season, it doesn't even equate to what Rodrigo had done in just one game in the UCL. You understand? So that
Yep.
shows you the commitment, the level of commitment. Honestly, again, I keep repeating myself almost every time. Like we have to put more respect to Rodrigo's name. We have to show more love to Rodrigo, and that has to start with people like me because I literally sat here and I said like, yeah, Rodrigo is the odd man out of this team, you understand? But Rodrigo has shown himself to be very adaptable, very intelligent and very productive as well.
Yeah, definitely. And especially on these bigger nights when he really puts in a defensive shit, it really stands out. But maybe this weekend against Rayo Vallecano, it's not going to be the case. It's probably going to be Lucas Vasquez again. How do you think our chances are, going into this game? Are we
I
going to
think
come in with the result?
I think the problem now is that we're in a very tight spot because like you're playing Rayo. Rayo is just 2 points behind Real Betis, who we lost to last weekend. Of course, that was at the Villa Marine. Now we're playing Rayo at the Bernabeu, but then Rayo also brings an added layer of that derby to it. Rayo are like also fighting for Europe. You understand? So
Yeah,
we have one eye on a tie against Atletico Madrid. And we also have to know that we are like fighting in the title race. Like we already dropped point last weekend, so we need to bounce back. You understand? So because of this, like you're in a very tight spot. To how do you approach this game? You approach this game with maximum strength and then risk, losing something out, or like at least taking something away from the players in the preparation of the game, on Wednesday against Atletico Madrid. So I think Carlo Ancelotti is in a very, very tight spot. It's going to be really difficult, to find a balance of how to, establish this. But yeah, I do agree with you that, like Lucas Vasquez returns.
yeah. Lucas Vasquez. Some of the players that I really want rested, maybe Rudiger as well. He didn't really look 100% fit against Betis. Maybe he wasn't really tested in terms of being actually run against, but he looked fine. Rudiger looked fine. Maybe I expect Alaba to come in. How about like the front three? Would you still keep the same front three? Because Rodrigo, he put in a lot of hard yards. Same with Mbappe. He looked a bit gassed because he came back after his tooth issues and whatnot.
Yeah, actually, I would say I would take out the Rodrigo out of the team and play Brahim there. Just
Yeah,
because I know that like most likely like Brahim is gonna go back to the not most likely Brahim is gonna go back to the bench and Jude Bellingham is gonna return to the team because his suspension is ended, right? Yeah, at least in the Champions League context. So I
yeah,
would want to see Brahim continue, the good form he's had, in the midweek and continue it at the weekend against Rayo. And you give Rodrigo that rest because he absolutely laid himself to the ground,
yeah.
in that game. So you give Rodrigo a rest, so like you have him much more fresh again. When you go to the Metropolitano, which is also going to be another battle as well. So I do think that would be something, and you give Vinicius and Mbappe a chance, to kind of rediscover that form or that touch that was lacking in the game against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you, man. But how about this? Like you mentioned, that we really need to get our title race, back on serious form again. We need to at least challenge. But realistically, like just I was just comparing some of our upcoming match days to our opponents. Both Atletico and Barca have like easier match days coming up, at least in the next month. And we seem to have like a more difficult task ahead. Realistically, do you see us winning the league at this point?
I want to say yes, because the point is eventually I understand that, like we after this game, I think we play Villarreal at the Ceramica, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong or something like that. Like I understand that we have quite, a tough schedule ahead, but
Yeah,
this is the thing, this is just all it is like a lot of this, players, Real Madrid players, like they rise to location when the going gets tough. This is the
yeah.
thing, like that. Because like for me personally, I would rather, you play the Villarreals and the Sociedades, the Bilbaos, then go in and play in the Leganesses because like for some reason our players aren't able to motivate themselves for
Dude,
these
like
games.
Leganes actually like didn't they win like both games against at least one game against Barca and Atleti this season? They were very close in holding on to a draw with us. So that's the thing. Like we have Villarreal, we have Leganes coming up. After that, it's Valencia, Alaves Athletic Club, Getafe, and Celta Vigo. None of these look like really easy teams to beat. Maybe with the exception of Alaves.
I agree, and also like don't forget we have the second leg of the semi-final sandwich there in somewhere against Sociedad as well. But
Yeah,
this is the thing. Like the point I'm trying to make here is that like these players, like when the tough gets going, when the going gets tough, when you're, like grinding it out for those titles, when you're like within those points, these players have shown, that they're able to step up. You
yeah.
understand? So this is what I'm trying to say. Like that's what I meant by the fact that like I would kind of at least with this current crop of players and the coaching staff we have, it kind of seems that the big moments doesn't face them, but rather it's when you expect them to roll past teams that they find a way to disappoint.
Yeah.
So because of that, like I would, like of course I understand what you're saying that okay, like it's a very tough stretch, as you just pointed out right now, like you're talking about like Athletic Club, you're talking about Valencia, you're talking about, Villarreal. So like these are like really difficult games, I do agree with that, but I just feel like, eventually the quality that we have, we should be able to see us through. And also more importantly as well, it's also about the fact that, we also know that a team like Barcelona also are juggling, the European competition as well. Okay, like hopefully if we knock out Atletico Madrid, they're gonna have one less cup to worry about and focus a bit more on the league, more or less. But this is not a new territory for Real Madrid. Like we've been playing cup and league, Champions League for for as long as the club has existed. So I do believe that the players will come to, and more or less this is where Real Madrid players speak. Like come the spring, they show the very best of themselves.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man.
Fingers
That's the
crossed.
only way. It's only if the players wish so that we can actually do those things, because a lot of fans, to be honest, have uh, given up on Carlo Ancelotti's performances, against these smaller clubs. So yeah, it'll all depend on the players, their work rate, and if they actually stay injury free. I don't think we can take one more injury. I actually don't.
Yeah, I agree with you about that. I agree with you. Like right now, yeah. I mean, an injury or suspension, it's gonna. That's why, like we look at this, the game, the Liga yellow cards, the Camavinga yellow card, the Lokomovic yellow card, I'm talking about the UCL now. Like they could really be, really, really fatal, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Do you have any other notes on Rayo? Otherwise, we'll just do the lineups and then wind this up, man.
No, I mean it's the same thing, like I think Rayo are like, winless in the last three games, but like as I said, they're also like chasing, European competition, but it's a derby for Real Madrid, and Real has won just two of the last 5 or 6 league games, if I remember correctly. I think we won just one of the last 5 league
One
games,
out of the
which
five, last five, yeah.
yeah, we won just one out of the last 5 league games, and here we find ourselves, 3 points behind the leaders. So this is a game that absolutely we have to win. Like there actually is no chance. So like it's a game that honestly I'm not looking for, anything from the team, but just to win. It doesn't matter if it's a scrappy win, no matter how it is, it's a own goal, it's whatever, just a win is a win. We need to
Yeah.
get that win and get the 3 points, in the column, and just, and then focus towards we see in the middle of the week. But it's gonna be a tough game, you understand, but we expect to see, a bit of changes in the team,
Yeah.
in comparison to what we will play on Tuesday against Atletico Madrid. But we expect to see a couple of changes in the team. But again, we look forward to just, getting those 3 points.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Let's go through the lineups quickly. So for me, Koda, keeps his spot. It's going to be Lucas Vasquez, Asensio, and Alaba at centre back for me. And then it's going to be Fran Garcia. Do you think he gets a start?
Yeah, I think so. I think David Alaba, I think Fran Garcia, I think those are two names that definitely, I would expect to see in the team.
Yeah. How about the midfield? Like, we don't have a lot of options. I mean, we could play in Modric, but I think Kamavinga needs this, this bit of run of games to actually, turn up against Atletico. Even if he doesn't start, we might need him later on, just to defend the league. So I think he needs this practice, and I think he needs to be out there on the pitch.
Actually, I kind of see a midfield of Federico Valverde, what's it called, Jude Bellingham and Oren Tchouameni. Actually, this is, the midfield I kind of envision for this game, because, I think Fede is going to go back to the middle of the park, and Jude is going to come back. And then, like, I think it's going to be a combination of Tchouameni as well, because as what you just said for Kamavinga, you also need that continuity for Tchouameni as well, because we need, to make him also, like, get the match rhythm, in the as a CDM role, like which is something that has been lacking for the past, couple of months when he has been playing as a center back.
Yeah, I would agree, man. Like the only thing is, like, should we actually play Valverde in this game, especially as a starter? I don't think so.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but bro, like this is the thing, like Fede is like a whole different level, like Fede is just someone that you cannot avoid. Like Fede is absolutely, an important piece of the team.
Yeah.
But this is just the thing, he's a machine. Like, I mean, I always see this like jokingly, but
Dude, he's a broken machine. Like he literally has bandages the last time he played. Like
yeah,
I
I
don't know
mean
if
that's the thing, like
I don't know if Carlos
whatever.
gonna play him though. Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna play Freddie's tombstone as the 11th player on the team. That's just it, you know. We're gonna put his tombstone in, and he's gonna be the 11th man on the pitch. You know, it's unfortunate to say this, but like this is just the thing. Like, you know, right now, like we need everybody available, you know, to pull in the same direction. And I always see like as a central midfielder, I think Fede already is the best central midfielder that we have. You know, and now losing Dani Ceballos as well just means that we just have to, you know, find a way to include them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll take that. So Brahim up top alongside Vinicius and Mbappe, so they can have a sort of a redemption arc. You know, get themselves back on form, play some nice passes.
Yeah, exactly. That's just it, man. Would be quite interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, man, I hope, you know, like Vinicius and Kylian Mbappe kind of find some form. But as I said, like for me at this point, you know, with the league at least, you know, considering the one win in the last 5 games, we just need to get the 3 points on the column. You know, like it doesn't really matter how that happens. You know, but we just need to get that. And hopefully, if Vinicius and Kylian Mbappe can kick into form as well, you know, or at least recapture what we've seen in the previous games before the midweek game, it will be great.
Absolutely. And I did see some chatter online, you know, that it, you know, basically Vinicius and Mbappe couldn't perform because Bellingham wasn't on the pitch. Do you think Bellingham is that crucial to, you know, our attacking play, or was it just a normal stinker of a night that both these players had?
I agree. I agree with that to some extent. But again, you know, the counter I have with that is the fact that, you know, we played Atletico Madrid twice this season and we haven't won. And both times Jude Bellingham was on the pitch alongside these other three attackers. You understand? So I don't understand. Like, of course, like Jude is absolutely crucial to the way we play. But I do think, you know, like against Atletico Madrid, like it's just really difficult, you know, like for us to click offensively against them. I do think, you know, like of course Jude helps in that case, but again, the sample size has shown us that okay, Atletico, like Jude hasn't really performed well against Atletico Madrid throughout his stay at Real Madrid.
100%. All right, man. Let's do the predictions and then, you know, wind this out. We have the lineups. We have you know, a really good game incoming. Hopefully, the players take it seriously, and you know we avoid further injuries. We have a nice and easy game, but easier said than done. Yeah. What do you think the game is going to turn out to be?
Yeah, man, I think it's going to be like a 2-0 victory for Real Madrid. Like I say, the clean sheet, like not too comfortably, not too confidently, but I do think, you know, it's a home game against Rayo, a derby. I understand that, but I do think, you know, we get back to winning ways, you know, and give the clean sheet as well.
Yeah, hopefully. Same. I think it's going to be 3-1 though, and Endrick to score later on.
Oh,
You know, so he can come back to save our asses. You know, if needed against Atletico.
oh, well, that would be nice. That would be nice, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool. I mean, that's about it, I guess. But I did have one more topic to, you know, close before we end this podcast. Like, where do you think Arda Güler stands in this team right now? Do you think he might actually get loaned out at the end of the season? We just have 10 games left to play, and then doesn't look like there's going to be any easy games. He's hardly going to get a look in.
I agree. I agree. Like, I think Arda Güler is going to have a very difficult time, and that's a you know discussion we've always been having about that. Like, you know, they saying that Arda Güler and his entourage are saying no loan. Real Madrid is saying no loan. You know, I think it doesn't just make sense. And if you recall, we discussed this previously about the fact that you look at players like you know Fede Valverde, you look at Dani Carvajal, you know, you look at even Dani Ceballos. You know, like these are players that all went and came back. You know, different spaces. Even Lucas Vasquez. You know, like you look at in the past. You know. Jose Maria Callejon went to Espanyol, came back to Real Madrid. You look at all these things. You know, like Frank Garcia went to
Casemiro.
came, and then came. Casemiro went to FC Porto, came back to Real Madrid. So you look at this, it's like you know, it's not just a situation where you know, oh yeah, people breaking. Yeah, Vinicius broken because Hazard had a problem. You know, Rodrigo broken because Gareth Bale, you know, was at the end of his time with Real Madrid. You understand? So it's not that easy, you know, to just break in at Real Madrid. Like literally, it's not happened. It's just you know, Rodrigo and Vini are almost like, you know, kind of anomaly, at least in the past years. You understand? So this is the issue there. Even Brian Diaz went and came back. So the
Yeah.
idea that you do not want, you know, Arda Güler to go on loan for me is just a no-brainer. You need Arda Güler to go to a stable club somewhere, I don't know, in Spain, preferably, if not Germany would be a good place, you know, to go to, you know, a top league, a stable club, Europa League, Champions League, whatever it is, like, you know, let him play and develop, and then you reevaluate the situation.
Yeah.
You understand? We can see right now, even Nico Paz, you know, like Inter are like looking at Nico Paz, you know, as one of the replacements for Mkhitaryan or Çalhanoğlu in the middle of the park, you understand? So this is how he has developed. So the point now becomes that, okay, yeah, Nico Paz can be, you know, an element to consider. Okay, maybe not in our team, but at least, in a top team. Martin
Yeah.
Odegaard now he's the captain of Arsenal, you understand? It didn't work out for him, but he's the captain there at Arsenal now. Danny Ceballos went to Arsenal for 2 years, came back, right, rode the bench for 2 years. Now an important member of the team before he got injured. You understand? So like these are the things. Like it's not just like you just come and all of a sudden you get a spot on this team. Like this is Real Madrid. Like this is a team of. I mean, literally the four
And
players that are
especially with Carlo at the helm, like you're just not gonna get serious minutes.
there is that, but also what you have to consider, Jacob, is like the four players who are playing here are like Ballon d'Or contenders.
Yeah.
You understand? It's not like I'm playing with, I don't know, some people off of the streets. No, you're not playing with Martinelli and I don't know, with Trossard. This is the point. Like if you're playing Martinelli, Trossard, okay, players are gonna have chances, but like you're playing with, a front four, like, that are Ballon d'Or contenders. So like it's not easy to find a position in here.
Absolutely.
So actually, Arthur Güler, I think, has a future with this team. I definitely believe he has a future with this team, but I just think like in the immediate future, finding time at Real Madrid is going to be difficult. So I think he has to have a difficult discussion with the club and with his entourage that they need to find a solution. Going to Germany, staying in, I mean, a team like Sociedad, Athletic Club, like these are places you can go, Okay, Athletic Club
Yeah,
maybe
but
not
our
because
club just doesn't loan out players to La Liga, don't they? Like unless
like
you're in Castilla. Like probably Germany
Odegaard
may be
went
maybe a good destination.
Odegaard went to Sociedad.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
that's
Odegaard was from the Castilla. Like that's something. But I mean, Fran Garcia went to Rayo. No, Fran Garcia went
yeah.
to Rayo, but then it was a sale with the buyback clause, more or less. You understand? But I
True.
mean, that's okay. So like, even if it doesn't work, like you look at if, for instance, let's say like Bayern Leverkusen gets they get to sell Florian Wirtz, like maybe Arda Güler might be an interesting name that you would be willing to consider. You understand? If he goes, you understand? Even you take away like Leverkusen, you look at other teams there as well. Like there are teams that could consider giving Arda Güler a chance, a very stable team that are competing in Europe. So it's not necessarily the end of the world for that. But this is just a thing. Like there is this belief that like okay, yeah, you're at Real Madrid and you have to make it into the team. I don't know how that is going to work out for Arda Güler, honest.
Yeah, it's looking dire, but I at least I'm confident about this, man. Like Arda Güler is not going to go the Kubo way. Kubo absolutely hates the club. Each time we face against him, like he puts in a shift, even if he hasn't scored in the last maybe 10, 20 games, he still turns up against us. Arda Güler, I think he likes the club. He really wants to succeed here. I see the drive in him. It's just that he might need a few minutes elsewhere so that he can actually turn out and mature into the player that he wants to be.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. But yeah, let's see how that goes. Fingers crossed.
All right. Yeah, thanks for all of you guys tuning in and all of you guys over the audio platforms. Do let us know if there's issues with our audio quality or if you have different viewpoints, you can just join us on our live comments or just hit us up on our Instagrams. And the links are down in the description below for our partners over at Real Madrid Community and whatnot. And we're gonna have fan cams as well after a long time in La Liga. So stay tuned for that after the weekend. So until next time, folks.